What a pleasant surprise. Fancy seeing a familiar face around this time of night. Care to join me in the carriage? The rain will only get worse, judging by how thick the clouds are. It would be a shame to ruin such elegant clothes, my dear. A runny nose wouldn't suit you either. Good choice. You would have caught your death out there in the cold. Look at you, poor thing, all soaked to the bone. Here, take my coat to warm yourself up again. It's all right, go on. I can see you're shivering. There you go. Now, were you heading anywhere in particular? It is rather late for somebody like you to be walking around alone. Bad things do happen to pretty faces around here, especially at this hour. Oh, you poor thing. What unfortunate timing. The rain must have begun right as you were on your way back. I'm glad I noticed you then. It may not be far to your residence, but without an umbrella it would have been an uncomfortable journey. Having you here gives me an idea, however. I'm on my way to the theater. Would you care to join me? If nobody's expecting you at home, of course. I planned to go with a friend of mine, but they didn't feel like mingling tonight. So now I have an extra ticket to the play, and letting it go to waste would be quite a shame. Lovely. I hoped you'd be interested. Today is the opening performance of The Discarded Son, and I just couldn't resist. You already know I have a weak spot for the arts, and with the prospect of seeing an intriguing drama, I simply had to. Believe me, it would be a pleasure to take you. And please, don't feel like a replacement. I was attempting to cheer up my friend and get them out among the people, but it seems they don't feel quite ready for that. Not yet. You know, were the circumstances any other, I might have asked you to go with me. However, Valentine is going through a rather difficult phase at the moment, and I try to keep them from isolating. But sometimes it might be best to give people time to recover before dragging them out of their comfort zone again. As they say, caterpillars too need to stay in their cocoon to become majestic butterflies. Of course, for us humans, it is more self-reflection than discorporation, but the result is similar enough in my opinion. But enough about that, my dear. I'm certain all will be well in due time. For now, though, would you care for a glass of wine? Don't worry, it's very mild, I assure you. Lord Deverac gifted me a fine bottle just earlier today, and I have been wondering whom I should share it with. Oh, trust me, I'm certain it will be to your taste, my dear. The Lord is very careful about selecting gifts, and from what I've heard, this particular kind has a very light taste. I'm not too fond of strong alcoholic notes myself. After having a fair share of drunken experiences, it eventually begins to taste of bad decisions and memories best forgotten. There you go. Go on, have a taste if you'd like. But just be careful not to spill it, dear. Wine stains tend to be rather tedious. You're right, I suppose having wine glasses in my carriage is a little strange, but I just bought them only a few moments before I noticed you on the street. I realized my old set was, well, not a set anymore. I figured some new glasses were in order. These are much nicer than my old ones, and a lot finer too. The thin glass is quite pleasant to look at, but I do worry it might be a little fragile. I just hope they last a little longer than the previous set. Last time, a rather rowdy guest began breaking them after getting upset. Yes, well, some people can handle rejection well, but others begin throwing tantrums. And their host's wine glasses, it appears. Fortunately, nobody was injured, and only the glasses were destroyed. The rest of my belongings remained mostly untouched. Drunken fools tend to be quite the hassle in my experience. It's part of the reason I mostly swore off liquor. But every once in a while, a glass of wine or two with such lovely company is simply too tempting. Oh, quite a pleasant flavor. I have never tasted anything like this before. Have you? It vaguely reminds me of spring. Oh dear, you all right? The road must have had a... You're bleeding. Don't look at me. Just take this handkerchief. It may only be a small cut, but please just press it to the wound. You looked at me, didn't you? You noticed the change in my eyes. I promise you nothing will happen as long as you cover the wound. I said cover it. Now! Perfect. A second glass broken. Still not used to my new strength. You really have a death wish, don't you? No, don't take it off. Just keep it pressed there. I'll be fine. God, that smell. It's all right, just listen to me. I need you to stay calm. Because I can sense your heartbeat getting faster. And for Christ's sake, you have to keep holding that handkerchief. I apologize, my dear. I lost my temper for a moment. This situation cannot be blamed on you. I suppose it's my fault for withholding information about myself. But in my foolish mind, I hoped I'd be able to keep it a secret. Oh, you poor thing. You look terrified. I can't even tell if you're trembling from the cold, the shock, or the fear. Perhaps all three at once. But I assure you, you are safe. I can control myself. You must think of me as some kind of maniac. And I admit, were I a normal person, this kind of reaction would be, well, strange to say the least, but be not afraid, my dear, and please allow me a moment to explain. I have kept this from you for selfish reasons. You see, I have been infected with, well, you've probably guessed it, vampirism. An illness of the mind and body alike, that makes one behave more animalistically than they may wish. A sickness slowly chipping away your sanity until all that you are has been stripped to the core. And what remains is only a poisoned, black, beating heart that offers a glimpse into what the opposite of humanity might look like, were it made into nothing more than pure darkness and evil. It makes the infected yearn for blood, but I have never felt such a strong reaction before, simply smelling you. In all my years suffering from this affliction, never has such a small cut been enough to induce the change within me. Perhaps it's because I know you, because you mean something to me as a person, as cruel as the implications of that would be. Perhaps it has something to do with the wine, and the Lord did it on purpose to sabotage me. Or perhaps it's simply you. I was worried you would fear me once you knew, but now I'm not so sure how to interpret that expression of yours. Are you terrified? Perhaps intrigued? In shock, even? Well, whatever you may feel, I understand if this means you prefer keeping your distance from now on. I'm sorry you had to find out this way. I will ask the driver to get you home directly. What is that supposed to mean? How could you possibly entertain the thought of being in this confined space with me after seeing my reaction to even the tiniest drop of your blood? I don't understand. How could you possibly look into these hungry eyes and feel unthreatened? How can you feel comfortable knowing that at the slightest break of your skin, I might leap at you and wouldn't be able to stop myself? A friend of mine recently had an incident. They weren't able to stop, and I don't want you to end up like that. A lifeless body in my arms. Another casualty, fallen because yet another young vampire lost control. You don't deserve to end up like that. Nobody deserves to end up like that. But if I could save only one person from ever enduring that same fate, it would be you. I cannot let you fall to your demise simply because you put your trust in me. My dear, I'm sorry. It was selfish of me to try and befriend you. Vampires and humans should never interact with one another. I should have been honest with you, or at least saved both of us the struggle of getting involved. I might hurt you, and even if I don't, you will die within what feels like the blink of an eye. We were never meant to meet. It was foolish of me to toy with fate as I did. I cannot possibly entertain the thought of you staying near me after these most recent events. You can never be safe by my side, and I can never truly be at ease, knowing that I'm merely a drop of blood away from becoming a murderer. A moment away from killing a person I care about. An innocent, beautiful human being. You deserve so much better, my dear. Even if that means I can never see you again. In the end, I can't tell you what to do. I can only suggest it might be best to stay away. But perhaps for tonight, we can just pretend none of this happened and enjoy the play together. Tomorrow will be your choice to make, my dear. Do take your time and think about it. I want you to consider the danger and weigh your options. Not like I have much of a choice in the matter.